Students will look into 7 steps to strategic planning. So, what are these 7 steps to strategic planning? Are the customer needs, customer positioning, predict the future, gap analysis, closing the gap, alignment, implementation. So, what is this customer needs? So, the first step is to discover the future needs of the customer. So, what are these future needs and who are these customers? So, as a planner who is planning the strategy, he should know who are the customers for an organization and will the customer base is going to change. So, what is this customer base? So, customer base is the group of customers who repeatedly purchase the goods or the services in an organization, such that these are the group of customers who in an organization they're going to maintaining it for the couple of years, and these are the customers are the main source of the revenue for a company. So these are the customers who mainly depend on the revenue in getting up in an organization, in developing the revenue in an organization, and what are their needs and the demands, and will the organization meet or exceed the expectation of the customers. So these are the basic points. What are the customer needs? Will they going to meet the customer demand and the needs? And these customer base or their demands going to change. So these are the main points that comes under the customer needs. Customer positioning. So the planner determines where the organization is going to maintain or how it's going to be in maintaining the relationship with the customer, such that will they want to retain, reduce or expand the customer base, such that will they are they going to change the product or are they going to reduce the customer expectation by changing the concept. So these are the basic things, or will they going to exceed or expand their business in meeting the customer needs. And this mainly depends on the performance, the quality performance that the organization is going to offer to their customers by targeting and eliminating the elimination or the rework in producing the product. So this the organization needs to concentrate in its efforts on the in the excellence of meeting the aims and organization aims and the objectives in meeting the organization. So the next one is the predicting the future. Next, the planner looks into the crystal balls to predict the future condition that will affect the product. So what is this crystal ball? The meaning of the crystal ball is by keeping in mind the present scenario, the present things, what are the movement, what the competitive advantages in the market, keeping in that mind the present movement and thinking of the future. So the present scenario, what it is occurring in the market, keeping that in mind, and we are going to develop or we are going to think about the future consequences in producing the product. So this in developing the future consequences, this is developed in the form of demographics, economic forecasts and technical assessments in the form of pictorial representation that will help to predict our future by keeping in mind the present scenario. And the gap analysis, the next point is gap analysis. So in this, the planner identifies the gap between the current state and the future state of an organization. So this mainly depends in the analysis of the core values and the concept is an excellent technique for pinpointing the gaps. So how these gaps are going to pinpoint is by making the analysis of the core values and the concepts in developing the product, and by developing the objectives and goals of an organization. Next, when you identify the gap or when you analyze the gap, you need to close that gap. So what are the points which are there in closing that gap is, if we are going to establish a well established goals and responsibilities in an organization, and to develop these goals and objectives, the stakeholders should be included in developing the in closing this gap. So once you close the gap, you need to align it. So as the plan is developed, it must be aligned by developing the mission, vision and the core values and the concepts of the organization. So without this alignment, the plan will have will not have the chance of success. So this is mainly important, and once you align it, the implementation phase comes. So once you have all developed these plans, you need to implement in producing the product. So how you're going to implement, or how the feedback system works is, by changing, if there is any changes in the design, and if there is, by overcoming the resistance to change. So these are the main things in the implementation, and in the implementation phase you're going to have the monitoring. So you're going to monitor the activity uh, in each step in producing the product. So the planner should concentrate, and the planning should be concentrated, and it should be assessed at least once in a year, and the corrective action should be taken before, or in the stage of uh, implementing any of the strategy in producing the product. And communication. So the basic communication part, we all know how we communicate. So what is this communication is? In an organization, everyone communicate among each other, such that a manager communicates to his employees, and the top level management communicate to their employees. So the communication, what it delivers is the organization's values, expectation, direction, and it also get backs the information about the corporate developments and the feedback in from all the levels. So this can be communicated. So the basically a manager communicates to his employees, so he is the one who is mainly involved in getting the information from the top management and communicating it to the employees. So in order to get effective communication system, there will be a feedback. So the feedback, how it goes is, it should be a two-way communication, such that the information flows up the ladder as well as down. So the any of the thing that should be communicated, it should be asked from the employer, and the feedback should be given from the it should be asked from the manager, and the feedback will be given from the employee. So communication barriers in an organization, it should be removed. And what all the messages, and the organization must know what messages it wants to communicate, and what the goals and the consequences of the messages are before it concerns itself with the various modes to transmit the message. So this should be like, communication should be most effective, and not just information overloaded. It should evaluate to determine that the message was understood and change the attitudes and the behavior. So how well you pass on that message is very important to its employees. So these are the basic agenda, and the purpose of the communication is to influence the attitudes and the behaviors to achieve the goals and the objectives. So it depends on how well how well we convey, or we express the words, or how well we going to reach how well it's going to reach to the employees. So there are different methods, communication methods, for better communication needs. Communication is not just providing information, but using the best communication method to motivate the people to act upon the message. So there are two basic techniques, that is interactive and formal. So the interactive, as you can say, the by the meaning is how well we are interactive, in the sense in the class also we can make interactive. So it is just a face to face interaction, or the contact between the people. And what we can say is, how well managers can communicate one on one or in a group setting. That is basically important. The group setting would most likely occur at the beginning of the shift, in the sense at the starting phase of any of the work that starts, such as in the form of quality, productivity, schedule, and the cost. So this can be influenced in form of questions and answers, in the form of meetings. That can be in the formal meetings between the top management and with the managers. So the interactive can be if there is any problem, the employees interact with their managers, and the same way if there is any problem, the manager interact with the top management. So this can be also in the form of developing the new concept, we interact, and the brainstorming techniques can be done. So these are the basic communication method. This is one of the basic communication method. And the formal one is, although the face-to-face interaction is a primary communication method. So what is this formal one is, it can be like video calling. Through video call we can communicate, in the sense by the Skype, or they can give the work from home. So basically in these days, like we are seeing the work from home and the Skype and all. So this is kind of by utilizing the satellite television as a effective medium, such that, and also we can utilize the graphics in the form of charts and diagrams by sending mails. So this is also other form of formal communication, such that just by sending the sentence or just by sending the content is not that much effective. So if you send it in the form of graphs, in the form of representative forms such as charts and diagrams, that can easily understood by any of the person to their employees. So this is another form of formal communication, and also video call. And these are the basic things that can be seen in the formal communication. And decision making. So as I'll be telling, the decision or the proactiveness is mainly important by before the launch, or by providing the better service to the customers. So when any of the organization act, when they act haphazardly without having any regard to the values and goals of an organization, people fail and that organization fail. So in order to make correct decision, it is better to use problem solving method, like how to solve a problem, or how the problem can be solved. So what are these decision making process? That is, with respect to the goals and objectives, we need to develop the goals and objectives of an organization. And how this is developed is by collecting the data, and through the survey. And the next one is, in order, after collecting the data, the brainstorming is done by developing the new concept or the ideas. So this is where the actual work plays. And after developing all these things, in any of the decision there will be positive and the negative outcome. And with, if there are any negative things, we need to think about the alternatives in producing the product. And based on that, we are the decisions are made and the actions are taken. And also, if there is a feedback system, we can get back to any of the point or any of the step. If any corrective action is required, we can get back to that step and we can correct it and get back in the implementation phase and implement our decision or the plan in producing the product. So these are the basic steps involved in decision making process. And this is the end of the module